do you think that in mocking the stupid arguments, you are feeding people's vice? Because like some of these people that are in both the pro-choice and pro-life debate groups, I think some of them don't care about being right, or they care about being right. They don't care about changing minds, or even sometimes saving babies or women. They get caught up in, they just want to fight. Do you think that we're feeding that with memes like yours?
Short answer, yes. But I also don't know any way around it, because like even like, let's just take recently. So we've, not to do with the pro-life stuff, but just because I've been talking about this on Facebook occasionally. Like the whole debate about the COVID-19 and the wearing the mask and things like that. And specifically, we're talking about masks. Like I have an opinion, and other people have opinions, and what they do is they go like to Google or something. I'm not entirely sure how they do this, but they'll go like, let me go ahead and search for something that agrees with me. Search, and then they'll find it and they'll say, guess what? Great. But like this could be like a peer-reviewed scientific study done by 16 scientists in I don't know, Canada, and like, is that paper feeding into people's vices? Well, yeah, I suppose, but like that's not the scientist's fault. I mean, it could be just that they were like, well, there's an interesting thing to study in 1987. But now I think for me, doing that is more regular, more repeated. And so I will take the occasional time to kind of like, take a nice rib shot at the pro-lifers who are being uncharitable or who don't really understand the things they're saying or something like that. And that is either ignored or just ends up being so much conflict that I lose followers. So
I think there's a different kind of vice, though, that I'm interested in hearing you talk about. This is like the toughest question I'm going to ask you today, okay?
Oh, man.
Because I like a lot of things you do, but this is the part that I really struggle with, and I don't really know what to think. So, just kind of bring people into kind of an internal conversation that the staff has had sometimes, not about you, but just like in general.
You guys are talking about me behind my back?
Not that often. Is it's sometimes frustrating for us how hard it is for us to get our message out there. And we'll sometimes kind of compare with other people who are, kind of loud pro-life voices who are a lot more snarky. So it's just like take you out of it. We're not talking about you, but like there's certain other people I don't really feel like name dropping right now, who are very, very snarky, and every other thing or more out of their mouth basically is a conservative or pro-life argument, but combined with, I can't believe how stupid some people are that they don't believe this. And when people share things like that, I think sometimes they're doing that, like, or even just liking it. The fact, like the people that are reading that stuff every day or listening to on conservative radio or whatever, I think part of what they're getting out of it is I am so smart and the other side is so stupid, and they feel better about themselves. And then, people emulate what they hear, The fact that Rachel says oof means suddenly now my wife notices I say oof all the time just because I'm around Rachel a lot. She's like, you didn't used to say that. It's like, okay, that just happens. When you're around people, you pick up certain mannerisms and words and things like that. People can also pick up these like attitudes of kind of, go ahead.
The one I'm more proud of, to be fair, is I, like 2 years ago, probably started describing what Josh is talking about as spicy takes.
Yes.
Or like, this thing is spicy. How spicy should we make this title? How spicy should I be on this Twitter post? And now the whole staff uses it as just like our meter. And we started like, I think like, this is jalapeno. No, this is like habanero. Like we start talking and it's just spiraling. And I'm like, I'm going to use that for the rest of my life because it's so helpful to describe what we're talking about in a very quick. Go ahead, Josh. I just wanted to jump in.
So people pick up the mannerisms of the people around them, and that's definitely happened to me my whole life. I've got certain little things that I pick up, but people can pick up the attitude of just like they feel more and more, confident. It's not a confirmation bias thing. It's an overconfidence, and maybe kind of like then they themselves become a snarkier person. So what I'm wondering is, do you think that the part of the reason why people share your memes so much sometimes is because it's feeding that particular part of vice? Is that a thing that you wrestle with? And if so, what do you think about it? Like, clearly you think there's more good than bad being done, which is why you're doing it. But I just love to hear, what is Elijah's internal process about the pros and cons of doing these memes?
Yes. I would be lying if I said that I didn't go through this exact debate on every single meme I post.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like, I think, yes, it's frustrating, I think, to me, because sometimes what'll happen is somebody will send me a meme and it'll say a word. It'll say like this, the word idiot in it or something. And I'm like, guess what? I hate this. And then I'll take the exact same thing and I'll find the meme template and I will modify it and I won't include the word idiot. And I'm like, guess what? I made it better and I post it. And so it's people like I have so many people that are like, dude, you are so picky. And I'm like, sorry. But like, I don't even really know how to like explain what I mean when I'm saying, oh, this one's too mean. But like at the same time, I'll post something that's like, ghost pepper on the spicy level. But like at the same time, it's not uncharitable. Like it'll be real spicy. Like, oh my goodness, I cannot share that on my personal page because my mom will get offended, kind of a thing. But it won't be wrong, or it won't use the word idiot, or it won't use the word specifically. Like people give me memes with the word retarded in it all the time. And I never once have used the word. There was a meme that was like 4 years ago or something like that. That was, there was like 4 panels and the last one was like the dog that said, oh, he's retarded. I even made one of those memes, but then took out the last panel because I just can't do that. But yeah. Okay. So I have, essentially it's a every single meme kind of a thing. I'm kind of looking for an example at the moment, but I don't really have one. Yeah, no, I don't really have a particular one. Occasionally I'll just find like a particular template and I'll fill in some details with it. But even something where I have so many memes in my drafts, like my draft area, I make a lot of mine in Google Slides because it's easy just to kind of combine everything together on my phone. And so I have probably like 30 or 40 of them that are just in there that I'm like, I can make a joke out of this, but I don't want to make this type of joke. I want to make this type of joke. And if I try to explain every single one of them, I think it would make sense. But could we extrapolate a theme or a principle from that? Probably. But it's just like one of those feelings that I'm like, it's sort of like, would the spiciest meme lord over here approve of it? And then would also Josh Brom approve of it? Probably. And then somewhere in the closer to the spicy side, I mostly just consult my inner Josh Brom with the truthfulness and then my spiciest meme lord with the spiciness. But yes, so to answer your question, it's something I think about every single meme I post. And it frustrates other people because they want to help me make memes, and I understand that and I appreciate that and I thank them for that, but no, because it sucks.
Okay, so to thank you for answering my very pointed question, now let me take a moment to kind of defend you, and this is part of why I feel so complicated about what you do. Is I hold a lot of things that feel like they're in competition with each other at the same time, because I don't think I've fully 100% worked all of it out. But here's the part where, like, if someone were asking me, like, why should Dank Pro-Life Memes be a thing? Here's my defense.
It's a free country. Shut your mouth.
Besides free speech is a good thing. And this is, again, our staff had a conversation about this. I think we started talking about this a lot a few years ago when Tim and I were getting really into The Last Week Tonight. Who's that show?
John Oliver
show. This is before John Oliver did the lame Abby Johnson episode that was super intellectually dishonest because his producers totally knew better. And now I don't watch the show as much now because, like, now I know too much. Now I kind of went from I think they're doing their best to be relatively honest to I don't really think they care about being honest. But before that, I was arguing with pro-lifers who were like, he's not funny, man. I'm like, no, he's legitimately really, really funny sometimes. And so Tim and I would like play these episodes for each other and enjoy them together and be like, we have to admit, as much as this is really not what we do, this is persuasive to a lot of people. There are people who all they have to do is watch a John Oliver episode on a topic, and that kind of becomes their default view.
Oh yeah, I know that guy.
Until they've heard something different, right? Yeah. And because it seems super well researched and like they've kind of looked at both sides, but it's also really funny sometimes. I'm sorry if you disagree. It is. It really is funny. And it was kind of like we had to admit, okay, yes, there are some people who are going to be more persuaded by the kind of thing that we do, but there are a lot of people that are going to be more persuaded by what's really funny. And we kind of had to wrestle with this kind of idea that I feel like kind of where we landed at the time was that's not really what we do, but we're kind of glad that there's other people in the movement who are being funny and might be able to change the minds of the people who like that's going to be the thing that they pay attention to. And I wrestle with those two things because I don't want us to be strawmanny. I don't want people to become more snarky than they already are. At the same time, like this is why is one of the reasons why the March for Life is a good thing. It is a great rah-rah moment for a lot of pro-lifers. You kind of like then feel less alone and more courageous and like they're going to maybe do something about it. And I'm trying to figure out how to exactly what to believe about all this. But I think there is a defense for what you do.
Well, thanks. And I was one of the things that the level of funniness was something that when I do make the things, like that's why I aim for the funny, because I know that it's persuasive, even if it's just like, persuasive to the people that are on my team already. Okay. But at the same time, like it goes back into, I guess, what we first started talking about is when someone is at home looking, scrolling through their feed or whatever, and they see a meme and they stop and they're like, oh, but like, that's funny, but like, I disagree with it. But like, why do I disagree with it? Like, maybe, I don't know. And it seems to me that for me, I think if I could have the same audience and the same retention rate and the same impact and make long form podcasts and articles, I would. I think I honestly, I think I would. I'd probably pepper in some kind of like funny memes and stuff here and there, but I totally would. Because that's just who I tend to be outside of my meme page.
Right.
But the fact that the memes are good, they're getting a message out, they're persuasive, they're funny, and there's a small chance that the people that are seeing it will potentially be persuaded, like while they're scrolling through their feed with John Oliver in the background.
Right.
It's possible. I don't know, but like, it's impossible to know that.
Right.
I have had a couple of people send me messages that, hey man, like this particular thing really opened my eyes to this perspective, or this particular meme. I showed it to my sister and she kind of like had to modify her view, or she got offended or something like that. So they are being used, at least in some cases, for productive conversations to begin. And that's good. Because if I felt like all that was happening was that it was just snarkiness being shared around, and then, pro-life people patting each other on the back saying how awesome we are while making more enemies out of pro-choice people, I don't think I would continue it. Yeah. It would be hard not to, because I got so many people.
And we're all evolving. I mean, your page is different now than it was 3 years ago. No question. Sure. And we're becoming a little bit more snarky sometimes too. I mean, Rachel put out a piece, Abortion is Healthcare, a Misogynistic Non-Argument. That's a pretty spicy title. And there is a little bit more spicy stuff happening in ours. So we're all trying to kind of figure out the best way to do things. And I think people ought to realize that.